All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. I'm sure we'll have a few people join us as we go along. But, guys, I know it's getting closer and closer to the end of the spring semester. So, again, next week, it's hard to believe it. Next week, I work at the Gateway College. College's graduation is next week. So it's hard to believe that we're here almost to the end of this semester. So I thought, why not take a few minutes and let's think about summer, right? I mean, summer, it's starting to feel like summer. Basically, it's spring kind of has disappeared, it seems. So we're thinking about plans for the summer. Are we ready for it? We're going to talk about that here in just a moment. So maybe you're thinking about it already. But yeah, it's almost here, guys. We're almost to the end of our spring session. So again, we're beginning the process of finishing the topic that we started a couple of weeks ago, the reading exercise and vocabulary. So today we're going to do a few vocabulary exercises, and then again start to get close to wrapping up this particular topic as we move into the month of May, which it's tomorrow. Can you believe it? May starts tomorrow. All right. Well, so again, I know May is not the summertime, but you know how school is, right? May, usually the end of May, beginning of June. This is when we start thinking about, vacations or taking trips. So I thought maybe we would take a few minutes and see what you are planning for the summertime. So summer, again, almost here. So again, in the school world, May usually is the end of school for a lot of students. So maybe you have plans with your family or maybe not. And of course, we are finalizing our schedule here in the online program, which we will share here probably in the next week or so. Okay, so we'll share that information with everyone. But first, let's ask you guys, what plans do you have for the summertime? So please share with us. You can put it in the chat. You can share with the mic, even if you have no plans. Maybe there's something you're thinking about, right? So Fatima, tell us, what are you thinking about for the summer?
Actually, this is the first summer that we're gonna not go to my country.
Okay.
So uh, we did the plan for the swimming pool,
Okay.
and also I plan to attend all the session that the library do in collaboration with the government or some Commonwealth or something like that. It's like they are doing a program during the summer if you wanna participate in some craft in the wood park, and also they are doing some night movie. So it's like they are doing once
Wow.
a month a
Now,
movie
now,
before.
which library is this? Is this Boone
It's
County
the
or
Bone
Kenton County?
County Public Library, yes. And the
Okay.
program, it's on their shelf just in the entrance of the library.
Okay.
So in every month they are doing one night, and before the playing the movie, they are doing crafts and those kind of thing, craft fun, something for the kids.
Okay.
And then they're gonna start playing a movie at 9:15. It's a kind of family movie, so there is no nothing
So
that
so
we're gonna be ashamed to watch it.
sure. Now, which location? I'm
He
looking at their
said
website.
this look the website, I don't know, but I have the paper. I gonna tell you about, just give me just 1 second, it's near me. I gonna read it for you.
Okay.
So, and this is for free, and there is also some kind of activity for, it's like you pay for them, but those kind of things, as I
Sure.
said, I'm looking for the free one, and then if there is a time for the other one, of course I gonna do that. So the program gonna be it's Bone Woods Arts and Craft Show,
Okay.
and that is what I see here.
Boone Woods is a park over
Yes,
near.
Bone Woods Arts and Crafts,
All right, let me see here if they have it listed under
and
events. Okay.
the website, it's they are putting here www.bonecountyky. There is no space, bonecountyky.org,
Boone County. Okay, so that's the city page or the county page.
and it's
Okay.
slash department slash parks, and then you're gonna have all the parks around here program.
Okay. Okay, I see it now. Okay, so what I'll do when we're finished here, and again, of course, I'll put this in the chat. But yeah, as we get closer to summer, it's always good to hear from different organizations that are offering things. So yeah, so the libraries are a great resource
Yes.
for activities. So yeah, the
And
Boone
the
County
movies,
Library, Kenton.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. The movies are good to watch. So it's like Encanto, Dumbo, Alice in Wonderland, Fox and Hound. There's some of them that they are very old, but it's still good to see those kind of things if you have kids or if you are with yourself to remember those souvenir from the from the childhood.
Well, you said
I
old.
like
Now
the
wait a minute.
idea.
Some of these were not. Some of these were when I was a kid.
Yes.
Okay, so let's not go too old there. Uh, Okay, well, again, that's a great, Fatima. I'll share some of those here in our email because certainly we have lots of parents with kids, and I'm sure they're always looking for activities. And I think especially important, you mentioned some of those movies. Those were, Disney movies, right? Dumbo, Fox and the Hound. Now you
Yes.
might say, Mr. John, we could watch those on Disney Plus. But yeah, the nice thing about this is it's a good opportunity to go out, to meet people, to do some community sort of activities. So
Yes.
that's great. Okay, well, I will be happy to share any links in our email. So I'll share Kenton Library, Boone Library, even the park system. I think is a great resource. Okay, Carmen says visiting husband's parents. So these are the ones in Spain. Is that right, Carmen?
Yes.
Okay, now you're going to tell them that I'm coming to visit them in 2026, right? For the
Okay.
eclipse. Yeah, just tell them to get a room ready for my wife and me.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually, we're talking about going to Spain. So actually, if you remember, there are two eclipses in 2026 and 2027, and both are going to be in Spain. So I don't know that I can afford to go for both years. So anyway, but we're thinking about it. All right. Well, that sounds like a fun trip, though. Spain is a beautiful country. All right. Okay. What other plans do we have? Any special plans, or maybe just we're going to stay here? Maybe just do some activities. Zaliha, you've got kids, right? So
Yes, I have kids. Yeah, we are planning to go Florida, but it's gonna be our first time. So everybody says the same thing. The summer season is not uh, good for Florida. I think I haven't been there before, but I think it's so hot and in summer and what's
humidity.
that, humidity, yeah. So they said if you don't like so hot and humidity, you have to stay hotel all day.
Oh no! Go swimming. Go to the beach. Go to
Go
the
swimming,
pool.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
we
idea.
want to go beach
Hmm.
because we haven't been there before, so and kids are really excited for this idea, but I know my husband doesn't like. Yeah. Now my problem is my husband,
That's
not
the
kids.
problem. Not the kids. Okay, not the
Yeah,
kids.
but he is like that. He's like that. Okay, you can go with kids, so you can enjoy. And then he said he can stay inside.
Hmm.
I know he's always like that. He doesn't like really hot temperature, weather, or humidity. I know
Well,
he was the same in Turkey also.
yeah, yeah.
When we visit summer, he always stay in hotel or a house, and I was going to beach or swimming pool. So every year we were taking our one of our best friends or my brother for hanging out, just me.
Yeah, just for you to have a friend to
Just
play with, right? Yeah, okay.
yes. So we are not sure, but yeah, kids really want it.
Well, I'm trying to remember the last time I was in Florida in the summertime. I mean, it's been a very, very long time. Probably 1988, maybe. I mean, a long, long time ago. And yeah, of course, it's very hot,
Very
often,
hot.
but often you'll get a rainstorm, like a little shower will come through middle of the day, might cool you off for a
Just
little bit.
so maybe uh, I can ask you because I don't know so many places in USA, and
Hmm.
we want to go with airplane. We don't want to
I see.
drive.
Okay.
So maybe I think you know about South Carolina or not. I'm not
Sure.
sure.
Sure. Mhm.
There's a beach I think over there. We
Myrtle
start
Beach.
Myrtle
Mhm.
Beach. Uh, do you think it's better from Florida? I don't know.
Better.
Better from the hot temperature or humidity?
No,
I
I
mean,
think
the
well,
same.
I don't know if it's exactly the same, but in the summertime, the real thing, Zaliha, is yeah, the temperatures, the weather, but it's both are very popular tourist destinations. So Myrtle Beach is like little Florida, okay? It's
Maybe I don't know. Yeah. I think some places, the other side, California, not so hot.
yes,
Uh,
but it's sometimes more difficult to get to the beach in California.
yes.
Yeah, like it,
Yeah.
places like North Carolina. I mean, North Carolina, the beaches in North Carolina, for example, are very nice. They don't often get as many tourists, but also you can't really get there easily in North Carolina. South Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
you maybe a little bit easier, yes, but um, the truth is most of the beaches in the United States are not super easy to get to just by flying. You'll have to get some kind of car or some kind of
Okay.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
San Diego, for example, is pretty close to the beach, but finding a good public beach in San Diego can be difficult. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I think yes,
yeah. So that's
it
why I
can,
think
it can be
yeah,
hard.
I think that's why Florida, Georgia. I prefer Georgia. If I had to say my preference, I think Georgia and the coastline there is probably better. Just not as many tourists.
Good.
But I think the truth is any part of the beaches in the summertime are going to be busy. So
Busy,
yeah, I
yes.
think everybody wants to go to the beach in Florida, especially. But honestly, Zaliha, South Carolina, North Carolina may not be as hot, but it's still the summer, and so that's why a lot of people like to go to some of these places off season. So of course it's hard when you have kids.
Yes, yes.
So
Some of our friends suggest us going to Florida spring break
well,
or
yeah, I would not go to Florida
maybe
when it's spring.
October or
Yeah,
yeah, something.
I think yeah. For example, if you can go like September, October, those are probably good
Yes.
good times. But again, if you got kids, I know you got school, so uh,
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and then
yeah,
we have to do it until July, middle
yeah,
of July, because their sports
yeah,
school team sports practice start middle of the July.
sure.
Yeah. So
Well, and also just to tell everybody, the United States, we have other beaches. They're not just in the ocean. You do have lots of lakes.
yeah, maybe
Yeah,
we can do it. I think there are some beaches, like lake beaches
yeah.
from just close here 4 hours or 3 hours.
Well, certainly,
The
certainly,
Ohio.
yeah. You certainly got some smaller ones in Indiana. You certainly got some as you go north to Michigan. Of course, Michigan can be a very popular place too. But certainly you can find a beach somewhere. Now, I
Yes.
usually joke with students, you can go to the Ohio River here in Cincinnati, but no one seems to like that suggestion. So all I could say is yes. But yeah, really, Zaliha, the key is to talk to friends and talk to people to get, you know, recommendations. Honestly, I am not a beach guy either. I don't necessarily, enjoy going to the beaches as much. Now, I like going to the beach in the off seasons. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I think yeah, it's good idea. But
yeah,
yeah, for school we have to do that.
yeah,
In my opinion, is I'm not a fan of swimming. Especially, I haven't swim any the ocean.
yeah, yeah. I'm not an ocean
So
swimmer. No.
so but just for kids.
Yeah. Well, I understand certainly.
Yeah.
Now let's see, Flora. I'm guessing Flora, you're going to Gatlinburg, since I know that's one of your favorite places. Is that right, or you're going somewhere else in Tennessee?
Um, I think it's a beautiful place, teacher. is just 5 hours
Yeah.
here, and I think it's a relaxing place too, and funny place too.
Well, you certainly
Yeah,
have lots of things to do, but is that where you're going,
yeah.
Gatlinburg?
I love the museums.
Uh-huh.
I love the walk carts.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good attractions.
No, wait. You
Uh,
like these or your kids like them?
no, me. I
So,
love it.
so
The
what,
walk carts.
so basically, do you just tell your kids, wait over here, mommy's going to drive a
No,
go-kart?
no. My kids is with me,
Okay.
and my parents too.
Okay.
Yeah, and the Anaquesta is a beautiful place.
Well, certainly I know you like it. I know
Yeah, I love
you've
it.
been there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Well,
like
I
it.
listen, I enjoy going to the Smokies as well. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, that's like fun. Let's see, Brenda, are you going to South Carolina? Is that what you're telling us here?
Oh yeah, we are visit some friends who lives in South Carolina.
Uh-huh.
Dulce
Yeah.
was in our class.
Yeah. Is Dulce still there? Is she still living in
Yes,
the same place?
it's
Really?
I'm sorry.
She's still in the same place?
Yes,
Wow. Okay.
we go to visit her and her husband,
Wow.
and we uh, we are visit in the past years ago, and we go to the beach,
Mm-hmm.
Isla of Palms, something like that,
Okay.
and Middle Beach too.
Myrtle. Okay.
Myrtle Beach, yes. And I think it's two of the good places to visit.
Well, it's funny. We were talking about South Carolina. I forgot to mention Hilton Head.
Okay, that don't know.
Yeah, Hilton Head is definitely one of the nicer beaches in South Carolina. It is a little. It's kind of. I'll be honest. It's a little expensive.
Okay.
And it's not as touristy as Myrtle Beach. You know, Myrtle Beach has lots of tourist things to do.
Yeah, too much people.
Yeah, Hilton Head is more about like families and going to the beach and doing things. So if you're lucky to get a hotel or some place to stay at Hilton Head, it's a lot of fun, but not a lot of tourist activities. It's more just going to the beach.
Okay.
So yeah, so we were mentioning South Carolina. So well, that's great. Yeah, so guys, Brenda's talking about a student of ours from many years ago. Her name was Dulce. So say hi to Dulce for me, okay?
Okay, Mr. Jen.
We haven't seen her in a long time. So
Yeah.
all right. Well, okay. So sounds like some of us have some big plans. Other people, are we just going to stay around Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky? So are we going to have staycations this summer? So that's what we call it when you don't go anywhere. You just stay. So is that what we're having, staycations? Yeah. Kaoru, any plans for the summer?
I haven't decided yet, but I like to go somewhere with historically with beach and historic ruins. Do you know where?
Oh, wait. Historical ruins. You mean like what?
Ruins, yes, like
Like-
Parthenon ruins or like that kind of stuff. Egypt.
Well, Egypt, Greece. So you mean big places here? Okay.
Yeah, but somewhere near.
Somewhere near. You do know this is not a very old country, right, Kaoru? I mean, we don't exactly have too many ruins next to a beach. However, I will recommend just for everybody, in case you are interested. I mentioned Georgia, Kaoru. So, for example, there is a national park in Georgia called Cumberland Island. And it used to have people living on it. And so when you go to Cumberland Island, they still might have wild horses living there. I don't know. You can camp on the island. You can visit it and then, take a ferry to the island. But they do have some older buildings that used to be inhabited. Now, this is not like ancient Greece, okay? I think probably your closest destination to the United States would be Mexico. Yeah, probably like Chichen Itza or someplace like that. So I don't think you're going to find many of those places here in the United States. So unless you just want to look at old, old buildings, which are not ancient, just old. Probably places like that. So, all right. And as Zaliha suggests, go to Turkey if you want to see a lot of those places. So, okay. All right. Well, anyway, Vladimir said he's going to do a staycation too. Okay. Well, Vladimir, hey, staycations can be nice. They can certainly be nice. So, well, anyway, guys, I thought we would go ahead and talk a little bit about this because, yes, we're getting closer to the summertime. Now, as I mentioned before we continue, we are going to announce our summer schedule for classes and registration and all of those things. We're going to do things a little bit differently from last year. So I will be reaching out to some of you, but we will be doing things a little bit different for the summer and for next August. So we'll give that information out probably in the next week or so. So I'm just kind of confirming with our other teacher and kind of figuring out those opportunities. And of course, just to remind everybody, you know, again, I'm leading our sort of online programming. Of course, there are still the in-person classes at Boone County, which again, if some of you are interested in in-person classes, those particular classes are still being offered in Florence. So again, just remember, these are both programs that you are welcome to take advantage of. So, okay, well, guys, thanks so much for sharing all of that. But here's what I'd like to do here with our time here this morning. So we're getting close to the end of this particular topic. We've been reading about exploring new career options. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to come back to the reading for just a moment. And what I want us to do is we're going to talk a little bit more about vocabulary. Now, we discussed this idea last week, and we're going to kind of just use it again. I'll talk more about collocations on Thursday. But the idea here today is just to kind of review a little bit of how words and how they work in context. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the reading again to kind of help us remember how words kind of fit. So not only are we going to think about their definitions, but we're also going to see about which words might be helpful in understanding how to use these vocabulary words. Now, for example, let's kind of use number one here as our first sort of beginning. So the idea is we're looking at the particular words in a specific context, right, in the text itself, and thinking about how does it fit into the situation. Okay, so for example, number one, the vocabulary word we're looking at is work his way up. Work his way up. Okay, now I think we could probably guess the answers of these already. We've talked about these words before. So for example, for number one, class, we're going to use emojis to help us with this instead of just having everyone speak. So for example, if you think the answer is A, we're going to use the heart emoji. If you think the answer is B, we're going to use the party emoji. Okay, so these are the emojis we're going to use to respond. So if you think it's A, hit the heart emoji. If you think it's B, the party emoji. So for example, number one says work his way up. Do you think that means he dropped out or advanced? So again, if you think it's A, use the heart. If you think it's B, use the party emoji. Okay, so I saw a couple of people respond. Okay. All right, now the idea is if we need more information, let's go to the text. So for example, it says line 5. So I'm going to zoom in here for line 5. Let's find the particular use of the word. Okay. So if you notice in the context, it says he worked his way up. Now notice the words that follow. From that entry-level position to sergeant. To sergeant. So this gives us the idea that we started somewhere at the bottom, at the entry level, and then worked our way up, right? So in thinking about the context, so coming back to our question, so it seems like the people who responded said that maybe B is the answer, right? So let's take a look and see if we're correct. All right, very good. So now the idea here as we go along in this exercise, let's think about how we can use it maybe in a different way. Here in the article, okay, so I'll bring it back up here on the screen so we can see it a little bit easier. See if I can erase the screen here. Okay, so again, we chose B, but looking over here on the left side, so the key word we notice after work your way up from a particular level to another level. Okay, so that gives us an idea that when we move up, we start somewhere from this to something else, to a higher position. All right, now everyone, let's take a moment and let's go to the chat. Okay, let's go to the chat. Now, in the article, it talks about starting from an entry-level position to sergeant, right? So if you remember, this was talking about a police officer. Okay, now what I'd like for us to do is let's brainstorm. Let's think for just a moment. What are some other types of situations where we're moving from one level to another, that we are advancing from one level of employment or one level of knowledge or one level of an idea to another? So, for example, if I said, let's think about a context like maybe at a grocery store, at Kroger. Okay, so if someone works at Kroger, where might be some place they start from this level, and then where might be a higher level that they would go? So, for example, you can use the chat if you like, or someone could use the microphone. What would be maybe an example we could use at a situation like Kroger? So starting from what position or level to another level? What do you think? What do you think? So, okay, so Carmen suggests maybe from cashier to, okay, and Kaoru suggests as manager. Ooh, nice. I like that arrow there, Kaoru. Okay. All right. All right, I like it. Yeah, so maybe from cashier to manager, for example. Okay. Yeah. Let's think about maybe when it comes to sanitation. Okay, yeah, maybe working at cleaning to a higher level like cashier. That's a good point. Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Okay, could we use it a different way? For example, if we said I'm going from knowledge, right? Think about maybe learning a particular sport or learning a particular game. All right, so class, take a look in the chat. If I said, for example, if I start from the beginner level, so for example, think about maybe English program or learning some particular skill. What would be the completion of that idea? From beginner to what? What would be the end of that idea? From beginner to...
Intermediate.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Intermediate.
Intermediate, perhaps. Okay.
And then advanced.
Then maybe to advanced. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So anything that requires levels, right? So we move up from one level to the next. So we move from this position at a company, we move from this position of knowledge, and continue to move on. Yeah. So in this case, I think that's a good idea. Okay. So Leah, you got another suggestion?
Yeah, I hear about so much junior to senior.
Yes.
Can be example. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, it's funny because they're kind of, when we're talking about school, Zalia is mentioning different levels, maybe in high school. So there is kind of,
and some jobs are some jobs. Some jobs I think they call their employer like junior position and senior position.
They can, yes, they can. I think you'll notice in the United States, those words have maybe disappeared a little bit. But in this case, yes, we might consider them one lower, maybe not a big difference, but a lower position, a higher position. Mm-hmm. But for example, I'll put this in the chat. So for those of you maybe thinking about school, generally we have from freshman to sophomore to junior to senior. Yes, so for example, in high school and college, these are the typical levels, right? Now, what's funny here, Zaleha, is we associate those with levels of knowledge, but of course, they're also kind of related to age. Not exactly, but they're kind of related.
Senior. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So in this case, it's kind of funny because yes, of course, we move up from 15 to 16 to 17, but that's natural, right? I mean,
yes.
we don't pass a test and say, okay, now I'm 16. Woohoo! Next year I'll pass another test. Now I'm 17. I think I'll stop here. Yeah. Yeah. Now some people do stop at their high school. Some people want to be 16 forever, right? I don't know. Maybe somebody in the class doesn't want to graduate. They just want to be 16 forever. So, but that's a good point. Obviously, levels in school. Yeah. Now in other countries, do we use those words, freshman, sophomore, junior? What do we use in Turkey, for example, Zaliha?
For school? No, we don't use these titles for students. Just you can say your grade.
From
I'm
first.
in college.
Okay.
I'm in high school, 8th
Okay.
grader. 11th grader, like
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Maybe now, because they usually the now new generation copies too much to other countries. Maybe now they use, but I don't know. But when I was a student, we didn't use.
Well, for example, you're talking about grade levels, which we still use those in the United States from, first grade, second grade.
Yes, we
ninth
use
grade,
this.
12th grade.
Yes,
Yeah,
great.
yes,
Yes,
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, but for example, the freshman, sophomore, junior, senior.
No, we don't use it.
Yeah, I noticed. I'm curious here. Does for the students here in the class, does any other country use these words? Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. Does anybody else use these words?
No, it's different.
Different. Okay.
Can you repeat the words, Mr. John? Is it advanced and those kind of things?
Yeah, if you look in the chat, where I put them in the chat there. So freshman is 9th grade. So that's the beginning of high school.
No.
Yeah, so freshman's 9th grade, sophomore is 10th grade, junior's 11th grade, senior's 12th grade.
No, we have other names. Actually, when I was in the school, there wasn't those names. It's just first grade, second grade, and those kinds of things. But now, because there is too much private school,
Okay.
they give them other names. So it's not anymore first grade, second grade, and those kind of things. But it's something in French. It could be the same.
Kind of the same idea. Okay.
Yeah, but it's the same idea.
Okay. Well, I think again, a lot of the ideas we're discussing are not uniquely American, of course. Freshman, sophomore, these are not uniquely American, but it's possible that's similar concept, I think. Yes. Zaliha.
So just one more question. Freshman, you use for girls and boys together?
Yes. And so as you can
it's
see
general, okay.
Yeah, it does. And it does create, generally these words are gender neutral. They don't focus on men or women, but it does sound weird to call a woman a freshman, but
no.
Yeah, there you go. So,
okay.
Yeah, these were definitely created.
So like traditional.
Yeah.
I got.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's one of those, and it's interesting because I think it's one of those traditions here in America that'll probably never disappear. People might try to change it. People might come up with different words, but it's one of those that's just become part of our culture. Yeah.
Yes, I got. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So we're off to a good start here. Yeah. So junior school, senior school. Okay, Miriam. Okay. Yeah. Private schools. I think that's become, seems like a more common thing. All right. Okay. So I think we're off to a good start with our discussion here this morning. Now, we're not going to do this discussion with every single word. So what I'd like to do is just, again, go back to our activity. So let's go back to number 2. All right, now again, we're going to use the same emojis. So if you think the answer is A, use the heart emoji. If you think the answer is B, use the party emoji. So take a look at number 2, eventually. Eventually. So does eventually mean in the end or in the beginning? Now, again, if you want to give an answer, please do. But let's take a look at the context to help us. So in line 16, it says... then I'll start a line before. So it says, then people began to make travel plans for themselves. Eventually, Nadia lost her job. So the question is, does that seem like at the beginning of something or at the ending of something? All right, so I saw some answers. Some people said maybe it was B. Really? Okay, well, let's check our answers. Let's see what our answer is. So eventually... eventually means in the end. So remember, when something eventually happens, it usually means at the end of a process, maybe a long period of time. So in this case, in the context, eventually Nadia lost her job. So things happened, and then at the end of the process, she lost her job. Now, for us, we might use the word eventually to think about our own personal experiences. For example, eventually, Mr. John is going to retire. Eventually, yes, I am going to retire someday. Not tomorrow, Carmen, don't worry, but it happens to everybody. Come on, man. Got to retire someday. All right, let's think about ourselves. Maybe eventually we are all going to learn English, right? You think that's a good one? Eventually we're going to learn English, right? Yeah, I think that's a good guess. Let's see now, Carmen. Carmen, I can't remember. Is this your first? This isn't your first race, is it?
No, in here is my second.
Okay, so eventually, Carmen, are you going to run the full marathon? Eventually? What do you
Is
think? So now you're running in the what, 10K?
10K.
So sometime in the future, eventually, will you run the full marathon, the full 24 miles? What do
Yeah,
you
next year.
next year?
I will try next year.
Okay, so eventually you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now see, that's impressive. I like it. All right. So in this case, we can think of the word eventually as maybe someday, right?
Mhm.
Someday in the future, in the end of this long process. Okay. So we use the word eventually often to talk about things that we've been preparing for, and then eventually it's going to happen. Right? So in this case, maybe many of us will feel this way. Eventually, we're going to learn English, Mr. John. Well, I think you're learning English already. So in this case, we think about Nadia. Eventually, she lost her job. Yes, she couldn't stop it. It took it, this process was happening. She eventually lost her job. Okay. All right, let's continue. All right, class, let's look at the next one. All right, so for number 3, we have, again, 2 choices. So if you think industries means factories, choose A. If you think it means businesses, choose B. And again, we're going to use, remember, the emojis. Now, again, if you're not sure, let's take a look at the context. Okay, so it says, another reason is that more people work in service industries. These industries offer lots of jobs in places like clothing stores or restaurants. So, take a look. Which one do we think? Okay. All right. So, looks like maybe we're about 50-50. Okay. So, let's check the answer and then let's discuss why the answer. All right. So, now, of course, we need to remember, class, that industries often include factories. That is true. So, for example, when we mention the car industries can include factories, places where they make cars. But when we talk about places like the car industry or the service industry, if you remember, we said those are very, very big groups. So in this case, I think we're looking for a more general word. So a business, don't forget, a business is not just, going into an office, for example. Businesses can also include places that make something. So I think in this case, the word industry is maybe a more general word. But the truth is, a factory is part of that world. So I think in this case, the word industry is referring to a more general idea. Now, guys, do you remember we talked about car industries, for example? Service industries, right? These were all things we discussed before. We also mentioned the travel industry. If you look here in the context here, right, it said clothing industry. So yes, it seems like they include factories, but remember, that's only part of the industry, right? That's only part of it. Can anyone think of one more example of an industry? We mentioned car industry, service industry.
Music,
Say it again.
music,
Yeah, the entertainment industry, certainly. Yeah, so music. Yeah, in fact, Carmen, we often refer to a particular place in the United States that is kind of when we use this word, it kind of refers to the entertainment industry. Do we know what special place I'm talking about in the United States? It starts with the letter H.
Hollywood,
That's right. Yeah, so for example, when people often say, well, Hollywood, right? Well, they're not talking just about a place. They're talking about the industry of entertainment. So in this case, that's an example of where that word becomes kind of a substitute. So yeah, all right, excellent. Yeah, that's it. That's the Hollywood is a good idea. Okay, all right, guys, we got a couple more words to look at. All right, let's try number 4. All right, so explore. All right, so again, let's take a quick vote. If you think it means find out about, choose the heart emoji. If you think it means take care of, choose the party emoji. All right, so what do you think about number 4? When we explore things. Okay. All right. I'm seeing some votes now. All right. I see most people seem to choose the heart emoji. So maybe it is A. Well, again, let's look at the context. So again, it's line 35. Let's take a look. So line 35 says, she decided to take matters into her own hands and explore new career options. So again, looking at those words. So when we explore, if you notice, we often put them together with words like new, especially with a word like an option. So when we explore our options, I think that means we have choices. And of course, if we have choices, we need to find out about them. Okay, now let's do this one again as an example. We can go to the chat for this one. So for example, if we explore options, okay, that tells us that we often use things that have choice. Okay. All right. So everyone, let's think for just a moment. What could be another thing that we explore? What are other situations in life where we have options or choices? So, for example, we explore career options. Okay. Can we think of some other things that we explore? What else do we explore? Okay. Yeah, we explore nature. Yeah. Brenda, what else do we explore?
Change countries.
So we explore places to live.
Exactly.
Yeah, hopefully we don't just close our eyes and say, let's see, where am I going to live?
Oh no, for job.
That's right. Yeah, we often explore
The
maybe.
opportunities.
That's right. That's a good one. I like that one. Okay. All right. Miriam says explore food courts. Yeah, sometimes it feels like we're exploring, like it takes a long time to find, especially if you have a family, right, Miriam? The kids want to eat here. You want to eat here.
Every time.
Every time, yeah. So what do you do? Do you buy the kids' food first,
Yes.
and then you buy your food?
Yes,
Okay.
because we don't have another option.
I know. What's funny is my brother. My brother was always the different one. My mom and I would eat at the same place, but my brother always wanted to be different. He always wanted the different place. Okay, Fatima says explore experiences. I think maybe in this case, Fatima, we might say new experiences. That might make it clear that we're looking at those choices. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So again, these are choices, options, especially places we don't really know. We want to find out. All right. Excellent. Okay. Let's do one more. Because our time is getting a little short. So let's do number 6. Okay, we'll skip number 5. Let's look at number 6. This is one that we discussed a little bit last week, but maybe we need to review. So if you look at the reading, it says here that at the end of the article, the only thing they can really count on is change. All right, so again, let's vote. If you think it's A, choose the heart emoji. If you think it's B, choose the party emoji. Okay. All right. So I see we have a few people who've made a choice. Okay. So some people maybe wonder if it's A or B. Okay. So I see most people are choosing A, but let's check out the answer. All right. So when we count on something, we rely on it. Yes. In fact, if you recall in our description, we mentioned that we might use also the word depend on. So if we rely on it, we depend on it. Okay. All right. So in this case, in the context of the reading, it says here that things changed a lot, right? If we look the sentence before, they also need to be able to adjust to new conditions, right? You have to be a flexible person, adjust. The only thing you can depend on, right? The only thing that we know is sure. The only thing we can rely on is change. Yeah, that sounds kind of strange, isn't it? It sounds hard to depend on change, but the truth is it's probably true, right? If you remember, the article was talking about the differences in careers. Now, it's interesting here. I think about my career choice. I've been a teacher now for a long time, but I wonder if I graduated school today, would I really choose to be a teacher again? Or would I choose something else? So in this case, it depends on what I can count on. Often I think about, I chose this job. One reason I chose it is I could count on finding a job. But I think things have changed a lot today. All right. So in this case, the article says we count on change. That sounds very scary. Right? Things change a lot. But let's finish with this idea. What's something that you count on to help you in your life every day? Okay, so let's take a moment, guys. Let's answer that question in the chat. So what is something you count on to help you every day? Could be anything. Could be something around the house, could be someone in your life, could be anything. So what's something you count on to help you every day? Let's think about that for a moment. Okay, so yeah, I was wondering maybe religion or faith might be something a lot of people count on. Okay, that's a good answer. Maybe there's something you count on. The husband that doesn't want to leave the house. Is that it, Zaliha? All right, Fatima says you can't rely on a lot of people. Uh-oh, can we rely on you, Fatima? That's what I want to know.
Also on me, I don't I don't
So wait, we
I
can't
don't advise
wait.
anybody. I can help, but people cannot find me all the time in there besides, because we don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. I cannot say rely on me 100%, but if I could, I gonna say yes.
So I should count on you. What, 85%?
That's depend on what on about what subjects you wanna rely on me. I cannot
So
say
wait. So if I need help, I'll call you and you say, you know what, that's not one of my subjects, so don't talk.
no help. I can help.
Okay, so I just want to make sure, because if I call
No,
you and say, can
I
you help
can
me
help.
with this?
I can
just-
help.
Okay, I just want to make sure I
Because
understand.
sometimes we shouldn't make promises that we cannot keep. And my daughter tell me all the time that when I said, for example, I'm gonna take you tomorrow to the library, and I find out that I'm tired or something, she said, "Mommy, you should keep your promise. You didn't. You never keep your promise."
Well, that's why this is an important word for every parent. I'm sure you already know this. When your child asks you,
Yes.
your perfect answer is maybe.
Yes. And when I say maybe, she said, "That's me no."
That means no. See, that's why. So now now you've got some flexibility here, Fatima. So
Yes.
all right. See, now you're learning. Okay. I like Miriam's answer. Positive thinking. That's good, Miriam. You can count on that. We can't often change our circumstances. We can't change our situations, but we can change how we think about something. So I think that's a great answer. We can count on our minds. But sometimes it's hard, I know. Okay, so again, the idea is to think about using words and using words in context. I think that's a great that's a great way to think about vocabulary. So again, our goal here in this course is to help students learn more words and to help practice using them. Now, we're going to do two things this week. One thing we're going to do is kind of a little activity, a little group activity or a partner activity here in just a moment. And then we're going to take that idea, and on Thursday, we're going to really make a strong connection to our vocabulary. So today is kind of a way to start practicing with our vocabulary in more of a context. So I'm going to return to our presentation, and we're going to kind of get close here to finishing this morning with a little breakout room activity. Now, this activity, I think, is a great way for us to think in more creative ways. You know, oftentimes we talk about, you know, here's a reading, here's some information. But one of the things I like sometimes with vocabulary is to try to use them in different ways. So in this exercise, you and a partner are going to read about two people. But what's interesting here is these two people are not so happy in their jobs. So what you and your partner are going to do is discuss the questions and give your answers to these opinions. Now, if you can, try to use some of our new vocabulary words. But for today, I just want you to get familiar with this exercise, okay? On Thursday, we're going to try to connect this activity more to using our new words. So you'll see some of our new vocabulary words in the exercise, but we'll see them more on Thursday. But today, let's just try to get comfortable with this activity, okay? So I think it's always good when we learn what we need or what is required. So what we're going to do here in just a moment is I'm going to ask for a couple of people to help us. We're going to read about these two people. We're going to look at their descriptions, and then we're going to see what kinds of questions or topics you're going to discuss. So for example, let's take a look at the first one here, okay? So here is the description of the person, and here is a picture of him down here. Okay, there he is right there. All right, so I'm going to ask Zaliha, would you mind reading our first description here about,
Yes.
about Jeff?
I can read. So let me ask. When you say, would you mind? I will say, no, I can. How can I answer this?
You could say, no, I don't mind.
No, yeah, always I say yes, I can do it.
But this is a great moment to remind you. Most Americans don't really know the meaning of "would you mind." Most Americans
Okay.
just think, "Will you do it?" And so
I
that's
don't
why
have to answer.
you could say sure, and then you just do it.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but again, remember when someone says "would you mind," that the real meaning is, does it bother you?
Yes. Huh.
But Americans don't pay attention to that.
Okay,
So
got
you
it.
could just say sure. So
Got it. Thank
all
you.
right, thanks, Leo.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay. Jeff is an entry-level fast food worker. He enjoys cooking, but he doesn't like his job because he cooks the same thing every day. He isn't learning anything new, and he doesn't see any opportunities for advancement.
okay, all right. Thank you, Zaliha. Now, again, this is something you and your partners are going to discuss here in just a moment. But I want you to think about in the exercise. Over on the right side, you have a little demonstration of maybe some things that you can practice saying with your partner. And of course, this is connected to the suggestions or questions that you see down here at the bottom. So again, notice it says, should Jeff, and then you have these particular choices. Okay. Now, the idea, of course, is that you and your partner are going to read through those choices and think about maybe which ones do you think would be a good idea for someone like Jeff. Because in this case, this is a fairly common situation. Jeff is probably just starting at this particular, career or business, but the idea is maybe he wants to continue to move up. So in this case, this is something to where you and your partner can discuss and think about what might be some things Jeff should do. Okay, so that's situation number one. All right, let's take a look at situation number two. So I'm going to ask Kaoru, would you read this next one for us about Lisa?
Sure. Lisa is a salesperson in a clothing shop. She's interested in fashion and enjoys helping customers. The problem is that the store where she works is often empty. She is afraid the store will close. She wants to make a change before she loses her job.
All right, thank you, Kaoru. Now, I think this is also this is definitely a very common concern for today, because if we think about, a lot of people don't shop in person anymore, right? A lot of people shop online. So again, this is something to think about when it comes to what advice could we give Lisa. Now, again, you have some suggested talking points here at the bottom. What do you think Lisa maybe should do? And if you notice up here at the top, you have kind of the beginning of a sample dialogue, a sample conversation that you think might be appropriate. You can follow or use this as sort of a beginning. But the idea is take a look at those choices. So when we go into the breakout room, if you want to review their situations again, that's fine. Please take some time to review the choices that you see for both Lisa and for Jeff. And then take some time to discuss what recommendations would you have for these two individuals. Now, we're going to do this activity for about 10 minutes. When we're finished, we're going to come back to the main room and we're going to share our thoughts about both people. So the idea is maybe both of you agree. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you have differing opinions. It's okay. It's fine to have different opinions about this. We don't have to agree on this. But the idea is, let's see if we can come up with some suggestions for both of these people. Because, again, maybe their situations are similar to yours. And this is certainly something to think about when we want to make a change in our lives. I mean, you're here in our program taking English classes, but I don't think we want to be here forever, right? It's nice to meet people or to learn new things. But I also think for students, we need to consider our next steps. What are we going to do next? Are we thinking about going back to school, maybe getting a job, maybe just continuing to learn more new things? To me, that's always the best way to learn more language, is to learn something new. So that's also something to think about. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing the screen. And the idea is we're going to go into the breakout room, and I will share the link to this particular activity. And again, like I said, we'll take about 10 minutes or so. That should give you hopefully enough time to discuss both of their situations. So please don't try to spend too much time on the first one. Sometimes students get to talking about the first one so much, they don't have enough time for the second one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a 10-minute sort of warning. We'll start at 10 minutes. And then after about 5 minutes, I'm going to return to your breakout rooms to remind you that you've got 5 minutes, and make sure you talk about the second person too. Okay? All right, so we're going to do this. I'm going to stop this here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put us into the breakout rooms, and then I will come in and share the link to this particular exercise. Okay. All right, guys. So let's get the breakout rooms together. We'll see how many we have for each room. Okay. All right. I think what we'll do is we'll do mostly groups of 2. Okay. All right, guys, I think our rooms are ready. So we'll go into the breakout room. I will come in and share the link to the exercise. All right, guys, get ready. Here we go. All right, I think just about everybody has returned. I think we're waiting maybe one more. There we go. All right. Okay, now we don't have time necessarily to talk at length about both people, so we'll get just a few general ideas about both. So let's see what we think about Jeff. All right, so I'm going to ask specific students to give us their opinion. So Miriam, I'm going to ask you about Jeff. Which one did you choose? What do you think Jeff should do in this situation?
I think Jeff should go back to school to get more training and then try to advance, but in a different workplace.
So do you think that he should stay in the food industry, like in the food area, or do you think he should go and do something completely different?
No, same area, because he enjoys cooking, so that's why.
So do you think maybe he should go to like the cooking school, like the actual culinary school?
Yes, and he take more classes new recipes, learn new recipes.
Now, did you know we had a culinary school in Cincinnati? And in fact, one of my students, he used to be the like the head chef, like he was the leader of this particular school. And he said it was a really hard program. So do you think maybe do you think Jeff should do something like that?
Yes, same like that.
Well, I'd certainly, I think it's it takes a lot of work and dedication. So, all right. Well, Miriam has given us her opinion. Let's hear from someone else. So, Vladimir, what do you think Jeff should do? Do you think Jeff should go back to school? Do you think he should get more training? Do you think he should just change jobs completely? What do you think, Vladimir? Okay, I don't know if Vladimir heard us there. Okay, well, Flora, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a good option. Speak with his supervisor about his feelings.
Okay, so
Maybe he has other opportunity, and
well,
he
what should
has.
well, okay, so what should he say to his supervisor? Like, what would you
Yeah,
recommend?
maybe say, "Oh, supervisor, I happy with my job, but I need to others opportunity because this company is a good for me,
Okay,
but I need learning about the others. I don't know, maybe other place or others food cultures. I don't know what is
well, for
the
example, if we
situation.
notice,
Mhm.
yeah, now, Flora, let's be honest. If you notice, it says he's a fast food worker,
All
right?
right, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. Do you think? I mean, obviously, some companies, like McDonald's, for example, they
Mm-hmm.
do have a chance maybe to be like a manager, or to maybe move up into their a business or corporate position. So do you think maybe that's what he should do, is maybe try to become manager of the restaurant?
Yeah, or maybe say let me learning together with the manager, and I just need learning
Okay.
and before take other opportunity.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I certainly in many of these types of places there aren't a lot of options, but maybe the idea is moving up to a managerial position might be a good idea. Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to Lisa. Now, I think again we mentioned Lisa. One problem, of course, is it seems like the shopping culture has changed a lot, right? I mean, we don't really shop in person as much as we shop online. So, Brenda, what advice do you have maybe for Lisa? What did you suggest?
I think maybe she need to speak with the supervisor about her feelings, because if she is afraid about the store will be closed,
Mm-hmm.
maybe she can suggest online sales, because she has skills for sales person. Maybe she can manage everything about the sales online
Okay.
sales, and maybe the store only open that area.
Oh,
And
so for example, do you think maybe this is an independent clothing store? Like maybe it's not a chain like I don't know, Talbot's or some other store. Do you think maybe it's an independent store?
maybe, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, maybe there's a chance that she could work on the company's website or work on
Exactly.
their online. Yeah, the problem though with a lot of online shopping is it's usually these big
Yes.
companies, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, in these days, that area grow up a lot
yeah.
and are too much competition.
Yeah. That's what I wonder. I wonder if maybe she just needs to think about something different. I don't know. So maybe she should speak to the supervisor. All right. Let's see. Carmen, what do you think? Do you think maybe she should consider just a different career or what?
Yeah, I think she needs to consider another career because for salesperson, you don't need to have a career, and you can apply for another different field.
So what do you think? I mean, it says here that she likes fashion and
Yeah.
she enjoys helping customers. So what do you think might be a different field that she could work in?
In another store in the same field, but in a better store.
Okay. So, well, what if she needs to move? Maybe she needs to find a better neighborhood or something. I don't know. I think maybe she needs a place where rich people live. Do you think?
No, I think everybody, we are all together. We are
Okay.
moving in the same level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely think that again, the in-person shopping experience. I think Brenda may be right though. It's a lot of competition in there, so I don't know. But I do think one thing, Carmen. Again, I'm not much on online. I don't follow like Instagram or TikTok or any of those things. But it seems like that's where a lot of people go to talk about fashion, right? Clothes and stuff like that. Is that your experience? What do you think?
Yes, I agree because the fashion in this moment is in the top because there are a lot of new clothes,
Mm-hmm.
and when the store has new merchandise,
Yeah.
they sell the past and in
Okay.
low
So,
price.
so do you think maybe she should recommend starting a TikTok, like a TikTok channel or a YouTube channel just for the store? Maybe each week she can demonstrate new clothes or talk about those things.
Yes, I think yes, because here in this moment, and everybody is working in these areas.
I
In
think
TikTok.
so. Yeah, I think that's where the future is. It's how can you sell products to people through these types of apps like Instagram and YouTube. Every time I watch YouTube, there's always a commercial with somebody talking about some new clothing product.
Yeah,
And,
this is in this moment, this is working better than other things.
yeah, so maybe she needs to consider reaching the online audience. Let's see, Zaliha, you got a thought?
I am. I don't use TikTok, but now the new popular thing is, I think, for teenagers, TikTok shopping.
Yeah.
First, I didn't trust them, their website. You have to give your account information like that. So, but we tried, and then okay, it works. But cheap materials so much. And yeah, we got something. And then really fashion is changing so fast. For example, I believe yet not too long, 6 years ago, I saw some people, some men or boys, they used to wear basketball shirts.
Yeah.
So close
Jerseys,
their knee, so close their knee. But now my boys are getting like I'm sorry but like a boxer size.
Yeah.
I said this is short. He said yeah, it's basketball short. I said but it's too small, looking smaller. So he said yeah,
Fashion
because
changes.
I was thinking the basketball shorts must be a little bit longer than the other shirts.
Listen, my generation.
But now it's getting
not my generation.
Getting very, very small.
Yeah,
it's looking like other pants.
Looking like the 1980s. Yeah, that's my generation here. Yeah, so Well, I definitely think the way that people find fashion today is very different. You know, it used to be that you would go to stores and see things. I think now it's all online. You look at YouTube, you look at Instagram, TikTok. So in this case, I think that's where a lot of this is. So maybe this is something Leisha should think about. Now, of course, I am not an expert. If you notice my shirt, if you see the shirt I am wearing, if you looked at pictures of me 20 years ago, I'm still wearing the same shirt. So I'm probably not the best person to talk to about this topic. So, okay. Well, we're gonna do a similar activity like this on Thursday, but I'm gonna change the requirements a little bit. But I hope this was a good opportunity to talk a little bit, to share and use some of the new vocabulary words and ideas we've been talking about. And especially with Lisa here, I think we can agree that keeping up with, you know, new ideas, that's a big part. That idea of counting on change, I think that's a big part of what's happening very quickly here in the United States. Maybe it's happening all over the world. So, all right. Well, guys, our time is up for today. So I am going to send you an activity probably tomorrow. This will be an activity that kind of begins to review all the vocabulary words. So, but I will probably send that to you, and you'll have a week to finish it. So it's not going to be a Burlington activity. It's going to be one that I make. So I will try to finish it by Wednesday, and I'll send it to you to practice for that time. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us here today. So we will see everybody on Thursday. So everybody, take care.
See ya. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. John. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. John.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Take care.